Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Everything Theater podcast Backstage episode. I'm Ellen Cribbs.
And I'm Benita Zahn. Glad you could spend some time with us. What we're calling, the subtext is it's chick chat.
Chick chat, exactly.
Listen,
Sometimes early in the morning, sometimes late at night.
right, when
Never.
chicks chat, and everybody can be a chick. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, absolutely.
They have a good couple of days, my girl.
Yeah, pretty good couple of days. I'm just feeling more positive about things in general, I think.
I think everybody is. We had a little sunshine. I know the
Yeah.
snow's going to come back, but we had a little sunshine, and right?
It's feeling like maybe the world is slowly creeping back where we can go
Right.
outside and maybe see two people that we didn't used to see.
I was with friends a couple weeks ago, and we were sitting out in the backyard, and they had a fire going, and even then, you're like, "Could you move a little away from me?"
Right.
We were unmasked. I'll tell you. Everybody. Some of them were already fully vaccinated. Some folks have had one vaccine. Everybody, a lot of frontline workers,
Hmm.
but still, you just go, "Could you move a little further away?" I know we're outside, but
Yeah.
and now, the Johnson and Johnson looks like they're going to get the green light for their vaccine. So,
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
and we just had a great conversation with John Saunders, the producing artistic director from McHayden Theater. If you didn't get a chance to listen to it, treat yourself. He's just got so much great stuff to say. And we talked about reopening and when folks are going to feel comfortable and what it will do to make you feel comfortable. And I think everybody's kind of chomping at the bit, whether you're an actor, whether you're in front of the lights, behind the lights, or the audience who's watching the lights.
Yeah. Yeah. He filled me with a lot of hope. I was like, I think we'll have some form of theater this year. It'll be very small, but it'll be
Yeah.
something.
Gotta give some props. I had a chance to talk. We've interviewed them, the folks from the Outer Loop Theater Experience,
Right.
and they've got a show. They were presented with a collection of poems from Kathleen Duff, the mother of Patrick Duff, who, if you're from the Capital Region, you would know the story. He died in a hit and run. Maria Lentini was convicted. It was just, it was a horrific accident, and his mom wrote this collection of poems to deal with her grief,
Mhm.
and uh, she was friends, her daughter, the friends with the family, with Rachel Yorker from, I'm ready, I got to get the name exactly right. Just talk to them. And I said, oh, I'll have it right, Yorter. And she reached out to them, and they took the poems and they turned it into called 13 Suits, a mother's monologues. And they are in the process of producing it. They will be this weekend at the Outer Loop Theater. You can jump on and take a look see. It sounds like um, an incredible program that they've done here. Mother's Monologues. Come on, open up, Nita. Everything theater. Nothing wants to open up when you want it to open up. You ever notice that?
No, I know. And we actually we recorded our full length episode last night and had severe technical glitches. I feel so bad for our lovely guest because my Zoom just stopped working and my computer didn't want to work at all. And I was like, you know what? This is just a sign that we just need to be done with Zoom.
You know, you can still see me, right?
Oh yeah.
Good, because I'm playing with the computer here. I know we're having these people going, what are you doing? Where are you going? Here we go. I want to have this conversation. Um, technology just doesn't always want to be your friend. As we well know. But anyway, I'll get that specific. Here we go. Stuff for you. It is, I don't know. I don't know. But we've got some fun stuff.
Hmm.
And we asked a question. I'm going to keep looking for this. And then as soon as I get to it, Ellen.
Yeah, yeah, pop it out. But yeah, in the meantime, we had posed two questions to our listeners, and some fun, different responses. Do you think will spark
Okay,
some
I'm
conversation?
jumping in.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
It's Rachel Yoder
There you go.
with the Outer Loop experience, theater experience. And we can probably post it, but if you just go to the outerlooptheater.org, and you will be able to find the show is this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 6 p.m.
Great.
And yeah, it was just, I'm looking for, I would like to do it. And
Mm.
I had a conversation with them after we recorded to see if perhaps we could get the show here.
Oh yeah,
And that might be a really neat thing for us.
yeah.
So, something to consider. So there you go. Got a chance to see something new this weekend. Right there.
There you go.
Wandering. Right there. This weekend. Check them out.
Take them out.
Michael
Excellent.
and Michael Herman is the
Oh,
is the I think he's the executive director for them.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're the two. So anyhow, as we were saying.
So you're saying, yeah. So we had posed these questions. The first question was, what is your process like in that moment of being backstage to entering the stage to start the show? Do you have an acting technique to jump into character? Do you have a backstage routine before entering?
Do
How do
you
you
throw
handle
up?
nerves? Hmm?
I said, do you throw up?
Yeah, yeah.
I know people who do. I'm sure you do as well.
It's interesting because I don't think I've said this on the podcast yet, but I bet I will say it a lot in the future. I consider myself to be one of the laziest actors in the world because and not so much, in certain ways, no, but in
Not at
some ways,
all, Ellen.
like I learn my stuff, I memorize my stuff, I put in 110%. But when it comes to like warm-ups and like mentally preparing myself, I don't need it, I guess. It's weird. Like I'll be backstage and I can just be chatting to someone just like about something and then just walk on stage. And for me, like I kind of need that. If I'm back there thinking about what I'm gonna do next and what my character's doing, it just psychs me out and it takes me out of the realism, I think.
So you mean when at Shakespeare in Love, when they sat backstage and played Rummy
Oh
with
yeah.
the Queen, that's pretty normal, huh?
Oh yeah. Sitting there in full Elizabethan gear.
Yeah, yeah. She beat me at first, and then I had a good comeback. I think by the time the run of the show was over, we were pretty even. But let me ask though, Ellen, is it like that for you across the board in a show, or for your subsequent entrances? Before you walk on for the very first entrance in a show, how does that or doesn't it differ from the rest of the entrances?
That's interesting. I think like opening night is definitely a different vibe than anything, but especially if it's a longer run like Cap Rep. Um, a lot of times I'll sit there and, maybe quote the curtain speech. That's that
The bottom
that
line
gets
is, it is a job.
yeah. Yeah.
You know, at that point, when you're getting a paycheck, it's a job.
Hmm. Yeah.
And that changes it. I think it's different. And I'm not dissing community, but if you're doing community, doing 2 weekends, 3 at best.
Hmm.
So I think that may be more sharper
Right.
every time you walk out.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, you
Listen,
definitely
we've
kind of
done
get into
both.
the swing. Yeah. Yeah, but I just like to relax, and when I find a fellow castmate who's like that, then before entering for the first time is just lovely because we'll just make faces at each other and just be silly and then go in and do a
Mhm.
dramatic scene or something. But
Right. I'm with you.
so
So let's
let's
get,
see what some other people
yeah.
said. We had Alex said, So I have a moment, usually when places are called, where my memory goes completely blank. What are my lines? What show is this? I sure hope it's not Cats. It only lasts for an instant, and then I refocus and get into the headspace of the character.
Love it. Patrick White, who acts and directs, says depends on the entrance. Usually something physical tied into what the character is doing the moment before, whether he is walking down a freezing street or drunkenly careening down a hotel hall. I usually have a theme song for the character that I hum or rock to before entering. Anything to bring me alive in that first moment, then throw it all away and play off the others.
Yeah, which I think, and that's kind of going back to what I'm talking about. If I think about it too much, it's too rehearsed. It's too,
I'm with
yeah,
you.
yeah.
For me, it's the first entrance. It's the
Mhm.
very first entrance. I can remember doing Crimes of the Heart.
Yeah.
And I would sit backstage waiting for my entrance, and I would I was on the bus because I played Meg, cheap Christmas trash, the middle sister. She's the one who eats all the chocolates.
Yeah.
And but I would be on the bus. I can do it. I see it now and watch the town as I was riding in
Mm,
and get off the bus. And then I
cool.
was in.
Oh, I like that.
But the rest of the show, you like you'll kibitz backstage, grab water, make sure your props are there. But I like to be in the moment for the very first entrance.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like that.
So so
And that's
Patrick,
kind of,
I'm on the bus with you, Patrick.
yeah. And that's, I think, a little bit of what some of our other people say. Let's see. Zach says it's a release. I focus on what the character needs, wants, loves, is missing, whatever the story needs. I let go of my personal needs, wants, loves, whatever I'm missing, whatever I need. Instead of adding the character onto myself, I release all the conscious thoughts of myself and get to work. It is ultimately labor, and my success at it is entirely dependent on my focus and my ability to shed my ego.
Okay.
So Zach takes things much more seriously than I do.
I love it, but Zach, I don't think you're going to be playing Rummy backstage.
Right.
Take Brian.
Oh, Brian. Let's see. Brian Sheldon, who we've had on the show, says depends on the show and the space, but most times I like to sit on the edge of the stage before anyone gets to the theater and listen to some old school hip hop, mostly Biggie. Right before I go on, I check my zipper about 25 times just to make sure.
Brian, if we get back together, would it be bad if I checked your zipper for you? No, that's probably not a good thing.
But cast members have to look out for each other. So
You do. You want to make sure nothing's hanging, straps and stuff. And yeah.
yeah,
Is this Meg Jupin?
Meg Dupin.
Meg.
Yeah, I've worked with
And
her
it
before.
definitely depends on the character I'm playing. I have vivid memories of being teased when preparing for my entrance for Doubt. Everyone is getting into character, very somber. And there I am dancing the Charleston to the pre-show music. Yes, we're
See,
there.
that's Meg. Yeah, like,
Yeah,
I'm with Meg.
right. Same thing. Same thing. We're there.
Let's see. We got John says just prior to entering, I shut my eyes, go limp for a second, but listen real hard for my cue.
Hmm. John Romeo, and we've seen this with him. John says, one thing for me is I really don't like being in a dressing room while I'm in a show. I feel I need to be close backstage and keep my head in the play. Dressing rooms are distracting. John, we love you, but clearly you won't be dancing the Charleston with us or playing cards.
No, I do agree with John though. I really love plays where my character barely leaves the stage for that reason.
Yeah.
I really prefer that when I have a big chunk of time in a play where I exit and then don't come on for 20 minutes or so. I'm not a big fan of that structure. I like to get in there, stay in the play from beginning to end, because
Yeah.
otherwise, yeah, I go back to being Ellen backstage, and it's like, oh yeah, I've got to go on and do this thing again.
But that is its own technique
Yeah,
to be able to get out of Ellen
yeah,
while in costume and get back in the moment
yeah.
that you get on the stage. And that comes, I think, from all the hard work done.
Mhm.
in advance of opening night.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if not, if you're unsure, look, how many of us have been backstage the first night or two or three of a show with our script,
Oh, yeah.
going over, words, a particular entrance, music. We still do that. And that I think is also, I think we don't give props to that being part of the prep.
Yeah. I mean, I know someone, a dear friend of mine, we did As You Like It together. We were Rosalind and Orlando, and we did 39 Steps together. He was
Mm.
Hannah and I was all the women. And in both shows, his routine was he would seek me out. He would find out exactly the moment I was in costume and had makeup on, and he would find me and pull me aside and go, "Let's do this scene." And we would have to run the lines every single night, even though we had done it tons of times. It was just his thing. And, I was like, that was fine. It was a nice little routine the two of us had. And some people need that.
And I just realized what our next question is for next session. What are your superstitions?
Oh, that's a good one.
Because that's a superstition, Ellen,
Yeah.
that if you don't do it that way every night, off the rails.
Mhm.
People will set up their dressing room a certain way, or the space in the dressing room. You will eat the same thing. Look, there's a million superstitions, and
Oh,
the
yeah.
theater's rife with it. So yeah, but let's do that next week.
And actually, that's a perfect tie into the last answer because this is one of my superstitions. Ryan says he avoids eating 6 hours prior to the show. And then right before the show, I go right before the show, I go to my place before places and go over everything I need to do in the act. But yeah, that whole like not eating, I cannot eat a meal before a show. So I have gotten used to eating dinners at 10, 11 o'clock at night because I cannot eat at
Yeah,
5 or 6 and then go and do a full show on a full stomach.
peanut butter and jelly.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing. I can
Yeah.
do PB&J and a cup of coffee, and I'm a happy girl. I have graduated to a slice of pizza when I did Park Playhouse. I had enough time and I had or come out of work, but I've got a kid, Jerry and Kretzinger, my co-anchor at 4 o'clock on News Channel 13, and I sing together. We're the singing anchors. I know, vomit from the name, but we're the singing anchors. And Jerry, God bless him, he's like, could I have more blue cheese with that? You know, I don't know how he does that and then sings. I wouldn't go near dairy.
No.
I'll have a thermos with my tea and honey and cayenne, right? Yeah.
Yeah. One of the times I did eat before a show was Shakespeare in Love. You probably remember this, that
Yes.
I was pregnant and I had an apple and peanut butter about an hour before the show, which I like, because I was pregnant. I was like, I gotta, keep eating small things throughout the day. And it all of a sudden during curtain speech did not agree with me, and just everything inside me needed to come out, and I had to go on and do the first few minutes of the show and then run to the bathroom and then come back on. I missed my next entrance, but luckily I didn't have any important thing to do, and I managed to get back on in the most, the moment I had to be back on stage.
Yeah. No,
That was
and
not fun.
that could be a follow-up question. Has nature ever called? And what did you do?
Yeah, yeah, it's
And
not
it
fun.
happens.
It does. Yeah, yeah.
See, there's so much to discuss.
There is. There is.
But
Um,
I will say this. I really, whether it's prep or, getting a character, I don't know what you want to call it, but I always like to take a couple of minutes and stretch out uh,
mhm.
because it's physical. Acting is physical.
Yeah,
And, look, sometimes you're on the stage where you're running up and down the stairs. You're being, manhandled a little. You maybe in a fight scene. And so I always like taking time to shake it out, stretch it out,
yeah.
so that I'm physically ready
Mhm.
to do the work.
Absolutely. Yeah, like fight calls are especially important. And any show that doesn't dedicate enough time to fight calls is such a red flag to me because
Yeah.
yeah, you
And
have
with that in mind, we're going to have our fight coordinator. See, everything comes back to Shakespeare in Love.
yeah.
But David Kennar, who was the fight coordinator for that show, and really had his work cut out for him because goodness knows. And he's going to be our next guest on Everything Theater.
Yes.
We're excited to talk to him and the theater company he has in New York City and how he's been managing and how, keeping that alive is going.
Yeah. So let's see, we had one more question. We had, if the pandemic was magically over all of a sudden, what would your first theater project be and why? Um, and our lovely Patrick White said, my dream play would be an inclusively cast Capital Region premiere that takes a historical event and draws parallels with our current crisis of inequality, hate mongering, and discord.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have to keep going. I thought I printed everything off. I didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll do some more.
Go ahead.
Let's see. Evan said something good and meaningful with my best friends, which I think, yeah, we all want to be with our friends. Stephen Patterson, who we've talked to from the Bridge Street Theater, said
Hmm.
they're hoping to do as much of that season from 2020 as possible. So and I think that that'll be really interesting, Benita, to see like how many people are going to revisit stuff from the 2020 season
Yeah.
that never happened versus just saying, it's a loss, we're moving on.
When we spoke last night with, and I know it's last night for us, it doesn't always work like that as you're listening, but when we spoke with John Saunders, he is not doing what they had planned, but something that's been kicking around that really speaks to the time he felt
Mm-hmm.
was, and they're looking to do Man of La Mancha.
Yeah.
The only secret he would divulge,
Yeah. Exactly.
you know.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we have Michael Mcdermott said he was in the middle of directing two plays, Fun Home at Ghent and Death Trap at Albany Civic. Both theater companies have expressed support in moving ahead, but the challenges are great. Will the cast want to? Will the kids have aged out? Can we do this? Yeah.
And that's a big question. The age with the kids may have been real close. I mean, we all know JJ, Jeremy Buckner,
Hmm.
um, a staged reading of a play that has 100 roles. I love this. So I could be in the room with 100 of my favorite actors.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, you can keep going because I did the first couple.
Sure. Lauren Smith, right now rebuilding the theater in my town. It was seriously damaged in 2018 in Hurricane Florence. And then the pandemic made it so we didn't have the funding to repair the damage. Sadly, we lost virtually all costuming, the seats, the roof, all damaged. Lauren, maybe we can get a group together here and we'll do a little, one of the shows we can raise some money and send it your way. You've got to let us know the name of your theater
Yeah, definitely.
so we can keep tabs and maybe find a way to help out.
Yeah, absolutely. Because yeah, there's been too many theaters close their door this year. We need
Yeah.
to save as many as we can.
Janet Hurley, Kim Lico is, of course, O'Neill and Chekhov. Of course.
You.
If you know Janet, of course.
And we got Michelle just says a comedy, which I hear ya. Like I know a lot of people are like, let's go do a whole bunch of meaningful work that really, but I just want to do noises off.
Oh, yes. I want to do curtains.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's Michelle Smith Kerrigan should point out she's with she and her husband are the puppet people. They make these life-size puppets and do the work with them.
Oh wow.
Fabulous work. And, we should talk and see about getting her on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And they've got a workshop, really wonderful quality stuff they do. And she's a very fine actress as well.
Mm-hmm.
And bring us home, Ellen.
All right, last we've got our dear friend Ryan Palmer says Richard the Third because I really need more Shakespeare in my life. Which we all do. And I think that would be kind of another fun question to throw out there to our listeners because our last episode from last week was with the Reduced Shakespeare Company. We asked Austin Titchener what his favorite was. He said Macbeth because it's the shortest.
I
So
know.
I'm just kind of curious, people's like Shakespeare stories out there. Like, what's your favorite Shakespeare and why? And like, have you seen a production that was really cool of Shakespeare that did something different that you don't typically see?
I think on the fun side, I think I would like to see Midsummer Night's Dream,
Yeah.
because it is dreamy, it's otherworldly, it's entertaining.
Hmm.
It's not, so if we're looking on the comedy side, I got an email. I'm on a list for it from Elizabeth Sobel, the president and CEO at Saratoga Performing Arts Center,
Oh, great.
and talking about where they're going to be. And I don't know, a lot of folks are not familiar that a number of the outdoor venues have gotten together,
Mm.
and I'm just trying to find a little spot. They're concerned. Of course, they've got the ballet and the Philadelphia Orchestra that come up, and how things may affect them. She said, "These are questions and challenges we share with all outdoor venues. Therefore, this is the to bring it home. At the beginning of the year, we formed a coalition of New York State not-for-profit outdoor venues, and we're joined by our esteemed colleagues from the Public Theater, Lincoln Center, City Parks Foundation, Classical Theater of Harlem, the Chautauqua Institution, and the Caramore Center for the Arts. And the group's been sharing critical info and ideas and tirelessly working together with the governor's office and the state and local elected officials to create timelines and guidelines that'll permit all of us to reopen this summer, allowing us to serve our communities, companies, and constituents in the best way possible." And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Park Stage Company is also involved in that collaboration, small but mighty in its own right, and 518 stalwart. So the work's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like a little bit more time to really see what's going to happen, but hopefully soon we'll have a sense of summertime, what's looking like might be able to do something in the summer.
She said,
Yeah.
"Summertime, summertime, summertime." What can I tell you, Ellen? We got to laugh, right? Everybody, we got to laugh. So it's been great spending some time. It's always good seeing Ellen. It's good
Oh
seeing you.
yeah. Oh no. This is the highlight of my week, Benita.
You know what? Me too. It's like the best Zoom call going, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so we're going to talk next week. Let us know about your superstitions.
Ooh. I like it. Cool. So
Good.
yeah, tune in. So the next week's episode will be with the McHaden Theater, as Benita mentioned, and then we'll have David Kenner on after that. So stay tuned. We keep talking to all these people because there's still tons of stuff to talk about.
And, check us out, like us on Facebook. We're on Instagram now and Twitter, and we're doing our darndest to keep you posted on what's going on, because everything theater is a big space.
And we do have a new website that we'll post on our Facebook page and on YouTube. All of our video interviews that we have, we don't go all the way back, but from pretty close to the beginning of the pandemic, we have video recording of these interviews. So if you want to go back and listen to some of those and watch them, then they're there on YouTube, on our YouTube channel.
Great. Wish you all the very best. Stay healthy. Wash your hands.
Yep. Bye, everybody. Oh, there's the